Even to a hijack open? I mean, I get it up front. I'm always like a little bit
It's
more
like,
shook at these
I don't
under the
think we're
gun
very
plus one.
incentivized to have many calling ranges with no ante.
Definitely not calling. It's three-better fold for me.
I'm gonna see
Yeah,
what.
same.
Okay,
I
come
mean,
on.
I flat.
We can
You know, I
definitely
usually do
stand properly. There's no way we're not making money flatting his hand on the board.
that.
I normally play really tight no ante, but it could be a mistake.
I'm gonna
So I'll
pull
show you
up.
too that it was Tony that opened. If it was like a
Yeah,
weaker
I
player.
mean, yeah, for sure. I thought about that too, but
Tony Gregg?
Tony Dunst.
we don't.
Oh, Tony. Oh, okay, Tony Dunst. Okay.
So even in cash games with rake, we're mixing call and three bet.
Really? Okay.
There's
So,
no
yeah.
way we can assume.
All right. Yeah. I'm definitely too tight there then.
King Jack goes the bottom for this.
I like this size.
I would make it even a little bit bigger, to be honest. But yeah, it's fine.
Sorry, I can't
Is that
find
6x?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do here?
I muck these spots.
I tend to muck as well.
Yeah, I think I'm muck. Do you have a flatting range?
Whew, calling three bets?
What about hand like jacks or tens?
Like, what are we doing with tens, man? Like,
I probably
jacks and
just
tens
cold
in those
four.
spots.
Yeah, just cold four and fold for sure.
I'd probably make it like 1600.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't get like when you're this deep, like and you have tens, he doesn't get to five
Why am I
bet
folding
jacks, and maybe doesn't get to five bet queens.
I'm definitely over flatting there then.
I rarely flat that spot. I'd probably end up overfolding some of those hands I should be squeezing and deciding to fold.
Flatting this. Yeah. Good odds.
I'd probably just muck nines, you know.
Yeah, I think mucking nines is fine, but like you need to cold.
Okay.
Do you guys pure flat this or do you fold?
High flat.
Here's a 3x.
Dude, when you're
Nice
playing
odds.
half flat, I really think you have to just flat these small pairs. Like this.
Yeah,
That's
I think I'm playing way too tight no ante.
Thanks, man. We didn't see it.
Feel the pain. Oh,
Haha, that's why we fold
so
them.
red.
Yeah.
Shows that you know, Justin.
As
So
what?
Don't fold. God, I feel like I'm coaching one of my students, yelling at them for how fucking tight they are.
I think Ben Hameen is pretty good. I don't know who it is in real life.
What do you guys do here with range? Three-way.
I'm pure check.
Yeah, 7-8-3.
I think I check
Jack up,
range.
let's go.
Do you guys check range? I think I'm probably checking range here.
I agree.
I think this deep on these dynamic textures, we just have to. It's like even with
I wanna-
aces, it's
Getting
pretty
six
hard for us.
shades in spots, right?
We just never get three streets with like anything.
I would probably check raises.
I think it's a pretty good.
Ooh.
I think check raising is pretty good. I think I tend to check raise more here with like ace of hearts 10 or something, and like maybe check call this hand. But I don't know if that's right.
You just want a little more equity when you're.
That's probably
Yeah, I
fine.
would
raising
always
and they
check
continue to win a
call.
lot of turns.
I feel like these hands we can keep in more like king jack or club type hands that we dominate. Like people probably overfold those.
The issue with that in this spot is that we're out of position. So when we
Yeah.
keep king jack of clubs, we still just lose the hand almost every time.
Yeah, you're right about
It's not
that.
like that big of a benefit.
I think like it's check raise or call obviously, and I think it's probably like if I had like ace four of clubs, I think I would check raise here.
Yeah, you
You
probably
don't
don't.
have to show down.
Or like ace nine of clubs or ace 10 of clubs or like ace six of clubs, something with wraps around like where I can turn a straight draw. I think I'd probably check raise this deep. I think that's probably right. And then like these ones, I think I'd probably check call.
Makes a lot of sense.
I think that's fine.
It's an interesting check.
Hmm.
I think we have enough worse stuff to bluff with here.
Like what?
Queen jack of clubs, queen nine of clubs.
Jack of clubs is not check calling club.
I mean, it's not check folding.
Multi-way, we have to. We can't continue queen jack clubs.
pretty sure just queen jack would not be folding here on the flop, but I could be wrong.
Nope.
2 overs.
With
I mean,
2
it's
overs
not-
and a backdoor flush draw. Like this
Yeah, I
guy's
would- I
betting
would
like
continue it.
sixes and like 7-6 and stuff. Like it's you might check raise it. I could see that, but I don't see folding queen jack of clubs
I agree.
Backdoor straight too.
personally. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you have one combo to bluff on the river. It's made. It's amazing.
Like I have a lot of ace of hearts, king, ace of hearts, any ace king with a heart, ace queen with a heart. I don't think we're folding.
I'm not gonna lie, like I can't help myself when they check turn. Like I just bomb the
Ace
shit out
jack.
of the river.
Ace jack, ace 10, those hands.
I mean, he has like some 8-9 here.
Yeah,
He does.
He plays this way.
but it's pretty hard for him to have 9x. But his
It is.
9x is always going to be like 9-7 or 9-8 or 9-6 suited.
And his small pairs that bet did just set up. So, and maybe we do win like 12, 15% of the time check jack. And he just shows up like king, queen of hearts.
So a lot of the stuff that we've been looking at with like BBZ is in these spots where we're kind of lacking bluffs, we just have to turn hands that are positive, like plus EV checks into bluffs. So like we for sure win part of the pot here checking with ace queen, but if we don't, like, I guess it's more what value bets do we have?
Ace-9 suited.
Might-
8-9, 8-9 suited. 7-9 suited.
We probably want to bet some like 8-7, 7-6. Like, I feel like we'd be doing a lot of blocking. I don't think we do much more than like betting like 400 here with everything.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really get a bet too big here, just because there's a ton of like fives, pocket fours, pocket fives, 9-8, 9-7, 9-6. There's a lot of like really strong hands in this range. I think betting could be fine here.
Yeah, just check fold. Move on.
I kind of want to just check folding. I don't know. That's an interesting one. What are you doing here, multi-way?
Is that big blind and button?
No,
Or do we-
this guy
oh,
limp
that's-
called. Limp 400 call. This is
Ooh.
Gilbert.
I'm checking.
It's Bleecker Street on ACR.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I kind of like the way he plays.
Yeah. I mean, we have... I think we can bet this board. Not always, but we can bet it a decent amount. Like, we have kings, queens, nines, king, queen. We have plenty of nut advantage, and, like... I don't think there's a lot of reason for us not to want to bet this hand.
I would just tend to feel like they have a lot of broadways in their calling range. At least one of the players feel like they're going to continue. I know we have equity to that. I don't think they have too many ace kings, ace queens. Ace queen could flat, of course.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, it hits their ranges for sure, and we don't have a lot of fold equity. I'm thinking more like our range, like, almost never misses this board also, though.
Right.
And we have the nut advantage in terms of kings, queens, nines. We have jack 10 suited, probably not jack 10 off.
If you're betting flop, you're running.
Depending on the run out, yeah. I mean, it's a board that it's a. I feel like this is one of our better hands to
Go crazy.
start. Yeah.
It's reasonable. I mean, it's not bad objectively, but I think it's reasonable.
I think that's too small. I think I
What
bet too
size did
small.
you
Here.
guys go?
I think I should bet like 400. We shouldn't. I don't think we should go that big here, multi-way.
Nah, we wouldn't need to, right?
But we aren't betting like. We aren't betting.
We're not betting king jack.
I think king jack we could probably bet with the back door. With backup. Like we're not betting like ace queen. Like I bet queen jack before I bet ace queen probably. But like we're not betting a lot of like queen x. 9x is a pretty good hand to start bluffing with. I think like 9-10 is a good one to start bluffing with. And then like stuff like this. So maybe I should probably size up here because we probably are a little more
Yeah,
polarized.
I think you should be at like half pot.
Yeah, I think I should be sizing up more closer to half pot.
Just mug.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think we'll play this. Check 3. Alright, I get to win a pot.
What do you think about Grey Poupon's game?
I just have him marked as like his 90 ability over $100 buy-in or a big sample. But I don't have anything specific.
Yeah, it seems just like an average mistakes.
Yeah.
But he does pretty well in some of these like 320s and stuff.
Flat or 3-bet.
Either way, I tend to flat these.
Yeah.
The way I think about this first early position is I'm typically flatting the like 2 through 5, and then I'm gonna 3-bet like 6 through 9.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think we're ever really betting big here.
Nice. Start potting. Yeah.
I don't think we want to pot though, and like potting it, I guess is fine. Like these ranges both could still have some flushes in them, but
Yeah, it's really nice to have the 3 here.
yeah. Like this hand is way better than like ace jack of spades
Yeah.
or ace king of spades. I got someone yesterday in the I double checked flush multi-way, and then I got the bet. I raise, back shove, call.
That is a dream. I stacked twos your dot with a similar hand like that. Nuts.
So here,
3-bet.
6.
3-bet.
Yeah, I think this is where we can start flatting, but I think we're deep enough still that I like 3-betting mostly.
The nice thing about 3-betting this is like we just get to call 4-bet. You know,
You calling 4-bets versus population?
versus melon head for sure. Depends what population you're talking about, but like in this field, yeah, I'm definitely calling.
That's funny because I tend to 3-bet fold. I just don't think we can 4-bet that much.
I think I
Yeah.
should be opening this like half the time or something. Probably in this field I could probably pure open it. What do you guys do
pure
here?
open it. I pure open it.
We have a missing C here too. I probably should pure open it.
I think this is water might be somebody.
I'm pure folding queen jack, assuming you guys are. 5, 8, 4,
From where?
4.
I'm sorry. I looked away.
Under the gun 8.
Oh, okay, yeah. You opening King Jack O there? Is at the bottom? Are you still folding that as well? And just going King, Queen, Ace, Jack.
King jack, I open at like 40. It's an open at like 60. It's like a mix, I think.
Right.
Oh, I think I remember this hand. Pure call.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, you can.
What do you 3-bet bluff here?
How deep are you? This is a reasonable hand.
Four.
I'm probably using,
I don't think I would
like,
3-bet much suited stuff.
I was about to say Ace 5 off, King 7
what
off,
it is.
King 8 off,
And then
King 7 off, King 6 off, King 5 off maybe.
We definitely want suited hands here.
Really?
How deep? Because we're deep, and there's going to be more playability because you're going to call our 3-bets, whereas when we're shorter, we can use those hands because they'll just fold more.
Wait, are we 40 or 60?
40.
I think we're 40.
At 40, we're definitely going to start using blocker. But it's still going to make some suited hands for sure. At 60, it's definitely going to be like the suited type stuff.
This is versus small blind RFI. So yeah, no suited stuff at 40.
Damn.
Ace 3 off. Like we're just not 3-betting much.
Check 60 for me.
Yeah. I think at 60 we start using. We're just not doing a lot of 3-betting.
These charts do not match Oscillator's charts at all.
I got the right one.
I mean,
Big blind versus small blind RFI. Yeah. This is using a, I think 4x to 13x. So more polar sizing. But
Is this 40?
this is 60.
I got a 40 real quick.
This is 40.
See, I have 12.3% 3-betting frequency.
These ones are messed up though, right?
No, that in the yeah, you don't have the blind versus blind folder.
So this is, right, this is it, right? 12.6, yeah. This seems like more reasonable to, I guess, what I would play. Yeah, so there is some suited stuff in here. I think it has to just do with the sizing that was chosen. The 3-bet sizing and the opening. This is versus a 4x sizing too, I think.
Which
the other
one?
ones.
BBZ?
The BBZs.
Okay.
I think it,
has to be less suited there.
yeah, I think it's a 4x and this is probably versus like 3.2 or something using a smaller 3-bet, so that's probably the difference. So yeah, like
That makes sense.
just shitty suited jacks, suited queens, 9, 6, 9, 5. Like this doesn't seem that unrealistic. I was just curious there because I definitely don't. Probably could better check here.
So, the way I think about these spots blind on blind is kind of like the way you said about BBZ, where our hand has some value in checking here. Like we're definitely gonna just win sometimes, but this guy isn't protecting his checking range enough.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna start blasting off.
I think we just have much other like hands to blast off with though.
Yeah, I mean I'm gonna blast off with those too. But like if he's not protecting his, like if he's just not checking enough kings here, we're gonna win the pot every single time.
Like I'm fine. Like I think I bet like check or bet like 400 here and stuff just for like some protection and stuff. I think, but that's interesting.
I mean I think he just has a 10. I think he has a 10 or an 8 high.
Hmm. Oh, what do you bet here?
I'm kind of targeting like a 10 and,
Just medium.
you know,
Yeah, like 1600, 12,
Yeah.
16.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I think
it's
I
16.
remember this. He tanked for like 30 seconds. Yeah, that's interesting, Justin. Like I agree, people aren't checking. Like this board is probably a range bet for him.
yeah.
I don't think it's the range bet, blind on blind, just because the
There's some like weird stuff. There's actually like a lot of range bet boards. I feel like small blind versus big blind, just because their range is pretty polarized and it's like a pretty strong region. So like these high card boards just like smash their raise first in range.
okay.
Yeah, Ryan would want me see betting here. If I opened with a lot of my range, I'd probably be betting range. If I opened
Yeah, I
pretty
think I
much
probably
spot.
bet range there too.
I mean it's kind of like when the in position player checks on like king jack 5. It's like they just turn their range face up.
No, I agree. Depending on the run out, I'm definitely starting to turn my hand into a bluff. What do you guys do here?
Either way is fine.
I think I just 3-bet call normally.
I flat
Yeah,
normally,
I'd say
but
that's
3-bet
pretty-
call is totally cool.
I'd probably 3-bet call.
What do you do for sizing?
Pretty big.
Yeah, that's too big, I think. Probably should just be like 1600.
Yeah, like 15.
Yeah. This is too big though. I agree. That's too big.
Especially from the small blind, you should probably be a little bit smaller than 4x because like your range is much more linear than like if it's a big blind. Yeah.
What do you do here?
I muck these spots, but
Yeah, I muck as the position, the flatters earlier.
Yep.
9, 8, queen 5, jack 2, queen 9. Wish that I didn't have to see the antes every time going. This looks familiar. I think that's pretty standard 3-bet call off, right?
yeah, good sizing, 3-bet call for sure. At this stack depth, I'm for sure 3-bet.
Do you ever shove?
Probably not
No,
with the big blind though, right?
agreed. I like that. But if I had like ace jack, you can start shoving for 40.
I would shove ace jack off here.
Yeah.
My shoving range would be like ace jack off, maybe ace queen off,
Yeah.
maybe ace 10 off.
Sevens, eights, nines.
Yeah, probably like king queen off too. You could probably just ship.
Hmm.
In theory, you can, but I don't think we should be doing it. Like king queen off is just so dead when called.
Well,
Like
well, we're forcing some folds from hands that are going to 4-bet rip on us, like sevens and eights and.
So I typically agree.
What do you guys ship here? Like I've been looking at this spot. Like what do you do here if you're gags? What's your 4-bet shove range?
Probably pretty late.
Ace queen off plus 9, 8 plus,
That's too tight.
maybe 7. I mean, is it too wide?
So I do. I think I do like
Ace 10.
I do like eights plus like a lot of the suited broadways, and then like ace 10 suited plus ace jack off plus probably. But like I think
If you were in a gag spot,
yeah, like BBZ was showing us a spot. Like he showed us like 5 different models, and like on all of them, like king queen, like king jack suited, king 10 suited are like always like super profitable, like slam
It's
dunk.
interesting
Like,
because
4-bet
Six and I were
jams.
studying a little bit before this, and we were talking about these types of spots where we do it for 25, 30 bigs. We
I
were
was
talking about
thinking
how there were
30.
some 40 big jams here that for sure. I probably missed
It's
the
like,
suited connector
yeah.
or the suited paint ones.
And then
I didn't
like
go that
queen jack
deep.
suited, like queen jack suited in this setup would definitely be a shove. But like as it gets to like hijack versus cutoff, like 3-bet and stuff, like queen jack suited
Just particularly from the
comes
steel
out and
spots.
it goes to like king jack and king 10. But like the suited broadways I think are like really, really good here.
And we also have to think that like when it's 2 good players button small blind, like the button's opening wide and small blind's 3-betting wide.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we can't be super tight in the big blind with 4-betting. Like, we have
What's your bottom pair, Justin? I do like eights.
sevens, sevens.
Yeah. Like what do you do with like you shoving, are you shoving queen jack? Like here I would shove queen jack suited. Like jack 10 suited would be close, probably fold with jack 10 suited. But I'm sure it's plus chip EV to shove.
damn, I'm way too tight in this spot, Dan.
I'm not sure what I'm doing with suited paint here. It depends who's in the small blind.
Yeah.
If I think the small blind is truly aggressive, I'm definitely shoving jack 10 suited, queen jack suited, king jack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like king queen through king 10 are like no brainers for me here.
Well, do
And
you think
then-
this is a function of like our ranges being tighter because the players in the mid and lower stakes just don't 3-bet bluff enough in this spot? And when you're playing 50s to 300 plus, the average player is going to be more aware and 3-bet button wider so we can then enforce those ranges? Or is it pretty universal and then we have enough equity to still always use those spots?
So like I feel like king queen and king jack are like pretty universal in terms of their
Yeah.
block, and they always have really, really like they retain their equity really well.
Okay.
Like even against like tighter ranges and stuff. Like against like jacks and stuff, you still have pretty good equity. And like 10s.
And the other thing about,
As they get tighter or the ranges get tighter, that's when like queen jack suited and like jack 10 suited and king 10 suited like can drop out.
Would you also throw ace, jack, offsuit in that category of universally going to be pretty?
Yeah,
okay
it drops
jam in
off
this
to like
spot?
ace queen off is pretty universal, and then like ace jack
Yeah.
off as the ranges get tighter or as the player gets tighter. I think ace jack off drops out.
Okay.
Like here, like ace jack, I think would be a slam for sure. But like hijack versus cutoff, if I'm in the small blind, like ace queen's probably a slam, and then ace jack's a fold.
Okay. Yeah, that helps.
I think that's how I think about it, at least.
the other thing that kind of like evens out the population is that those players in like lower stakes aren't shoving from the small blind enough here. So they probably have sevens and eights and nines and like ace jack O in this small 3-bet size, which gives them more 3-bet folds than
Yeah, I agree with that too.
like when
I see
someone's
what you're
better,
saying.
you're gonna have similar amounts of 3-bet folds because they're just shoving some free.
Yeah, but I think like population definitely is like not 4-bet shoving enough, and they're like pretty profitable, I think. So I think he just folds here. If Gag shoved here, I mean, I'm folding, I guess, but I mean, if he's shoving anywhere near the type of range that we talked about, this hand probably calls off.
I don't know, man. I think he
Yeah.
probably still
45.
fold.
We're gonna be getting what if he shoves? Be 11. We have to call it 8 to an 11, so we need like 42%, 43%. Starting to get close, but yeah, I mean, it's probably ace jack suited is probably, I guess.
Well, the other thing here is, no, he's not gonna have a small 4-bet size here, would he?
No, I think he should only shove.
Feels kind of gross to shove aces here. I don't love doing that. I might flat aces.
No, stop.
Stop.
Let Melonhead go crazy. Your check.
Range check.
Yeah.
This is one of these spots I played yesterday that I fucking love that I learned from Acevedo. When these boards are paired, and your verse is like an in position flat and the big blind has a ton of them, right? And so we need to be checking a ton, but when you check and then in position bets and big blind folds, all of a sudden your over pairs become super strong. So like if this board's like 6-6-2, you should check, and when in position bets and circle ball folds, we should now be raising our jacks and stuff.
Yep. So BBZ, we've been doing a lot of like simple three-way work. And so like if you're Patrick here, you're supposed to have no raising range. You're supposed to stay uncapped here. And a lot of the simple, like a lot of three-way spots in theory, the person in the middle with like a threatening range behind. So a lot of times like the big blind behind is just supposed to pure call or fold. With an uncapped range behind. So like, especially in like this spot, like this player here is in theory supposed to just never raise because circle ball can have so much 9x.
What do you mean never raise? You mean never bet?
No, like if I see bet.
Yeah. You can't have a raising.
Like so like
Well, you shouldn't be
button versus small blind versus, let's say button open, small blind flat, big blind calls. Check 995, button bets, small blinds pure call or fold. No
Okay.
check raise at all.
That makes sense.
Because we want
Yeah.
big blind to go crazy with their nut hands anyway.
Yeah, and then the interesting thing, like in theory, was when button bets and small blind calls, like on this 995, like big blind only has like a squeeze or fold range, in theory. It never calls.
Mm.
Never overcalls, just squeezes or folds.
And then I guess we're just gonna take like Jack, King 5 or something, and just start bluffing with it.
Yeah, like we're clearing up equity, and we have so much 9x to protect our range
Yeah.
that we
Typically-
just turn everything into a check raise.
Yeah. Typically, what I've seen in those spots is that like our bluffs aren't nearly as intuitive. Like, we might just start mucking.
Sorry.
We might start mucking like
One
8-6.
Yeah. It's a lot more important to have like the pair blockers in these spots.
Mm-hmm.
Like the set blockers and stuff. But like in game, like the small blind when they call here is
That's
so
what we
like
fuck up.
we should be going pretty crazy with those squeezes from the big blind, I think.
Oh, totally agree.
Okay.
Because this in theory should be a capped range and it never is.
You mean that in theory should be an uncapped range?
Yeah. In theory it should be uncapped, but it actually is capped a lot.
Yeah.
You didn't fuck up because we haven't
So-
even booked the trip yet.
Cool with that.
I don't know if I should start
Nah,
bluffing turn here to have.
I would, but we still have that time.
just
We
value
still have
bet.
time to get it there this week, and so you messed up.
I think we. I don't know.
Don't be in it.
Well,
He's never bluffing.
it's not like for value. It's more of a determination of like, am I gonna induce more bluffs or am I going to?
These cats aren't bluffing multi-way in this spot.
Yeah, I think Patrick's
They're
gonna
probably
check
not
up way
bluffing
too
enough.
often.
Like if he's not bluffing that hand, then obviously like this is like the nut hand to bluff, and it, so like this hand
Yeah,
should
he
auto.
should be
bet.
absolutely.
I feel like
I don't really care what it costs. Just get it
This
done.
is fine.
And if
I feel like you should start leading turn some with this hand.
Yeah, I guess any 10 might bet, but
even if you do the express,
your range is still uncapped, right? So like if
Yeah, they don't know.
So then I would say
Probably
call
not betting
FedEx
there, no.
and see what they say, and if we're stuck, I'll get a truck to come get it. Cool. Just let me know.
40 under the gun 8. What are you guys doing here?
I mean, it's kind of like you're playing like 25 here.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm a little bit of a Zoom noob. I was struggling to find the mute button.
No worries.
What do you mean 25?
Like button is really short, big button's really short.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to look here.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at this table and see if I would open this. This depends a lot on the configuration.
Yeah, this
for
is
me.
like, still I should be opening this.
Damn.
It's like a split, but I think I'm too tight here.
But I mean, when button and big blind are short, like it probably becomes less than a
Yeah, it's probably like, I mean, it's a 0V. We're just doing it for board coverage. And if we don't really need board coverage against these guys, then it's probably best to just muck.
Yeah.
Because like, that's the only reason we're opening is to have coverage on low boards so we don't get punished. But no one's punishing us.
Yeah, that's something that Romero's been talking about a lot, is that EP, we should just be knocking out like the bottom fringe hands. Like the profitability of those hands and population so low.
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
him say that as well.
Like, a lot of those hands are just opened, like the small suited connectors and small pairs are only opened for the board coverage, but if people aren't attacking, then there's no real need to have that board coverage.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I mean, I know Ryan's going to open the King 4 suited under the gun there. on the boat.
He stacked me in the 250 or something like that, and because I opened like King 7 suited UTG or UTG1, and I was like, yeah, he's probably pretty happy with the open anyway.
I think Ryan plays well. I like Ryan. I think some of his exploits, though, he goes way too far.
Typical.
I mean, he's definitely got right?
I would.
What do you do here?
I'm pure 3-betting.
2.75x.
Yeah, I 3-bet this.
Yep.
I'm fine with this side. I do typically go a little, like a hair bigger with my bluff.
So, like, how crazy do you guys go 3-betting here? I 3-bet here, like, pretty fucking crazy. Because I don't think people defend enough.
I mean, we should be at like 10% in theory or something like that. Yeah.
I'm 3-betting here, like all offsuit paint.
I always have a problem because I still flat too much.
Probably some ace-9 off plus.
Like, I
I'll
feel
probably
like
do
this
that the
range
last
is
in the
supposed to
range.
defend so wide, and people overfold a ton.
Have you looked
Oh,
at? Have you seen this range recently?
Like,
He's supposed
King
to
5
defend,
suited.
Yeah, exactly. He's supposed to defend like King 6 suited, like 9, 10,
Yeah.
9, 7 suited. Like, nobody's doing that.
Yeah, so I've been going pretty crazy here. And, like, they don't check raise you ever post. Like, they play 2 passive post flop and stuff. Like, I think these spots are just, like, super, super, super profitable 3-bets.
Why
And,
don't we?
like,
Why don't we pull up and see what this looks like in theory?
yeah.
Ace 9, Ace 10, Ace Jack, Ace Queen at partial frequencies. I got a chart up right now. Minus in Ace 5, Ace 6, Ace 7, Ace 8, King 8, Jack 8, 10 8 at some frequency, 9, 9,
Hide
10,
at low jack. Another one
Jack's full
too.
frequency. In a minute, buddy.
Whew.
Yep. Oh, wow. That's tighter than this one.
This seems really tight. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really tight compared to the range I'm looking at.
30 BBs.
30.
Oh, shit. I'm not. I was looking at the wrong BB. It only has us doing 7%.
Yeah, this is like,
Like almost 8.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably like almost
92
whole weight
combos.
8% off. A lot of like King 9 suited, Ace 8 suited. I'd probably 3-bet a few of these as well.
I think that one of the reasons why our 3-bet is so preferred here is because when these sims are run, everybody's at 30. And so when we flat, we get jammed on a lot.
Yeah.
And so I
Yep.
think that, when Corgasm and these guys are a little bit deeper and they're not going to jam, we probably get to flat a little bit more often.
I agree with that. Like, I'm flatting like pairs, and like, a lot of these pairs, and like some King 8 suited and stuff, and Ace 5 suited. I'm definitely probably flatty.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, like King Jack suited, I mean, I guess it's a pretty nice jam, but I'm pretty much just flatting it.
yeah, like we're a little deeper than 30 here. I'm probably not jamming much in position. Like, I'm probably flatting these combos here.
I'm never mucking Jack 10 suited. Ever.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Nah, no way.
Yeah, I agree. Like we're on the same page there. It's good to look up these spots, those spots for ranges.
Just pure
Sanity
call.
check.
Okay.
Never be too good on ranges. It's so hard. I mean, there's
What?
like you can never be too sharp on it. There's so
No.
many. And like the slightest adjustment to them you have to adjust your range. It's like it's super useful to keep looking at them. I feel like.
Oh, I think I'm charged.
I don't think I ever want to ISO this hand.
See, man, I think we should be more exploitative in these blinds.
I
If
actually
people just
should
are-
do this.
I ISO a ton. I ISO like 45%. But like I'm gonna ISO like ace deuce through ace 5 here.
Ooh,
Ace 6.
okay. I actually don't think so because
I'm like really polar. You want to be really polar with your ISO range. I think this hand is way too good to ISO.
yeah, but are we gonna ISO fold ace 3 suited ace 3-0?
What? No, I'm gonna check ace 3-0 or jam it.
Oh,
I'm not-
I thought you
I have a jam. I have a jamming range and I have like a 1200 range.
Okay, I'm cool with that. But you're not using your ace X offsuit in your small.
No. I use like suited aces,
Okay, and
like
you're gonna
larger. Like I'm checking back like ace deuce through, like ace 6 suited probably,
Okay.
and then
Okay. Yeah.
one of the things that Ape Styles in his webinar last week we're talking a lot about was 10 big blind, like 10 to 12 big blind, small blind versus big blind. Population like severely over jams versus limp, and they don't ever like you're supposed to have a significant like 2.6x from the big blind. And he talked about from the exploit now, like what do you do with queen 9 suited, small blind versus big blind with like 11 bigs?
I'm always
Me
jamming.
too.
Yep.
So he thinks he's very confident it's way better to limp call the shove. Because his reason is that when you shove, no better hand is folding to your shove.
When you limp, lots of shit's jamming on you.
And when you limp call off, you just induce like population from his, so Jared and Sixes haven't seen it. Like, so I've been doing the BBZ webinars and they have this huge population report from like 10 million hands on
Wow.
Poker Stars. And population like way over jams GTO from like 10 to 15 big blinds, shoving versus limps.
Which is
And-
what we should do on ACR and WSOP for what it's worth.
Yeah. But like, so his thing was it's much better to limp call off with hands like 10-9 suited and queen 9 suited and jack 10 suited, those type of hands, because no better hand is folding and you just induce those shoves. Like they're shoving like jack deuce suited and like you're not getting better to fold and you have enough equity to call off. And it's just better to keep in their hands that you dominate, like 9-5 off and stuff that are going to fold to your jam. And they play really well when it goes check anyways. And you limp like aces and kings and queens. And then like
More
this,
than that, like 9.
yeah. So you limp that and it's like this region right here. That's like limp calling off, like king 8 suited and king 7 suited. Not as much because they still call king 8, but like queen 8, queen 9, 10-8 suited was one that was like limp calling off
Well,
the shoves and 10-9 suited and stuff. It was kind of interesting, but it kind of made sense in theory where like if they're not calling off that whole, they're not going to fold the better hand, and so just induce some like shit shoves.
And then we definitely want to shove with like 9-6 suited, 8-6 suited, 6-7 suited stuff, right?
Yeah, we're shoving like this region a lot,
Okay, yeah.
and then like
We're getting better.
limp calling this region, and then like limping this region as well, like the really good suited stuff, like ace king, ace queen, king queen, and then like some of these pairs. But like never, like we're not doing any of that trap with like the offsuit stuff. So it was kind of interesting. But like his whole thing was too, like you should just have like a decently polarized like ISO range from like 10 to 15 big blinds from the big blind that like no one is doing. But we were gonna look at like 20 really quick. Big blind versus, actually I'll look on the BBZ chart. I've been
it's funny, last time we hung out, you were all about checking the paired charts, and you've moved over to BBZ.
yeah, they just did all this stuff now. Big blind versus where's it? Small line limp. Yeah, like this stuff, I'm like pure raising. All this mixed ISO frequency stuff, I'm like pretty much just pure raising
Me too, actually.
down here. And I don't ISO any suited stuff that I'm not calling off.
See, I'm still ISO. I don't know, man. I think we should be ISOing like 2-6 suited, 7-2 suited, 8-3 suited. Like they don't actually play that well post flop, especially at short SPs.
I could get behind those, but like I'm pure ISOing 7 deuce off for sure.
Yeah.
6 deuce off. Like, and so for me, I tend to just add the weight by just doing all of these at full frequency.
Yeah, I think that we can add more weight than that, but
Yeah. I'm at like 45% ISO, probably. We could probably be even higher. But yeah, like I'm ice jamming ace X
good.
pairs.
I like that. At the start, I thought you were like ISOing ace 4 off, and I was like, ooh, that's gonna be hard to win.
No. I'm not doing that. I had this spot come up actually versus someone the other day. 20 big blinds here. Limp, I make it 3x. What are you doing in the small with like queen jack suited?
Just rip. Maybe call, keep in the
So I
queen.
think calling is probably way
I
better.
was about to say I'd probably call with the queen jack suited there.
I was thinking about this spot a lot, and I was like pretty sure it's like the same thing as like when we rip like against the polarized range, we're just kind of fucked when we get called. But we can keep in a lot of like stuff that we dominate.
There's
Calling.
some merit though that if that's stacked up, picking up the pot right away is worth the time. And I don't actually think people are properly polarizing their big blind range.
I do agree with that they're probably not properly polarizing there.
Like it's like how we talked about that ICM spot where like button is supposed to be so polar that we just like call with 9s and 10s.
Yeah.
You know, but like when people aren't properly doing it, I think that hands like queen jack suited gain merit to jamming because like he's gonna have, you know, king 3 suited, king 4 suited, king 5, and like hands that should just be pure check.
Yeah, I hear you with that. Like this is the response, small blind response. This is kind of how I'm playing right now, but
Let me see.
I
we're just
love
basically jamming pairs and suited your ace X.
So
and, like,
Or just keeping everything else in and just calling since their range is polarized. And
Yeah,
they have a
like-
lot of playability. Okay.
confused why we have no aces and kings.
What was that?
I'm confused why we have no aces and kings. Are we pure raising?
The ace X off all get jammed pre-flop room.
Like ace
Open
eight.
jammed.
Ace, ace, and king, king.
Yeah, like all the offsuit
Oh, there
aces
it
just
is.
get jammed
Okay.
for 20.
No, I was talking about ace ace, king king.
Oh, they're pure raises. As we get shorter, like we're almost never trapping these hands.
I always limp call, but yeah, I guess raise is better.
If we don't think they're properly polarizing, then yeah, raise is definitely better. I think in theory, we're raising these hands when they're raising like 40%. No one's raising that, so we definitely should be raised. Like I'm raised calling off like this region over here.
That seems good. I would raise this flop.
I considered raising here for sure, but I didn't want to get shoved off my equity. I thought this hand was a little too good to raise.
What are you raising here that has less equity then?
Like king 7. Like I think having the 10 is really good here for when he does have like king 7 off or like king 8. Like we just stack him on with the nut straight. Like we just straight him with the 10-8.
There's definitely some merit to that. My only quip is the king high is kind of nice.
Like I would tend to raise here with like king of clubs 4, I think, or like king of clubs 3. Like some of those type of hands. And like some.
We have a lot of value here that wants to raise though. Like I think any 9 probably just raises it.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
that. Like
for
6,
potential
7.
value.
Like a lot of
Yeah.
pair plus straight draw I want to raise here.
You think? I think 6-7 pure calls.
Because we get enough turns we can call with as well.
Yeah, 6, 7 I can probably get behind calling that.
Yeah, I think I want to call 6, 7.
Yeah, that's probably. What do you do with A6?
Probably
What?
call.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, I'd probably call A6 as well. I don't
That's
know.
what I'm not sure. I'm
Is
not
that-
sure if we're supposed to raise for protection there. Or...
I mean, it definitely in theory we're raising some, but I think it's fine to just call. But
Yeah, having that extra over. I mean, we have a little protection there, and plus we get to stack him if an ace comes and he tries to rep it. He gets to bluff that card as well. So I'd probably call with ace six.
You can
What are you
either,
what are you doing here?
you can either jam.
I called with the intent of bluffing a lot of rivers, so it gets checked to me. I don't think I should be folding this hand though.
I sigh and mark it.
That's the honesty.
What size? What do you bet here?
Side fold.
You
You
know,
know what I'm saying?
What?
you can only jam, I
think
think,
so.
when you
Value
play.
bet.
It's like you can't value bet a 9 here.
I think we definitely can value bet a 9. Personally, I was thinking in game. I was thinking I would value bet a 9 here.
He big bet turn, dude. He's not big betting turn with a 6.
True. That's a good point.
I tend to not have a small bet here and always just jam.
too.
So
think
I went
wanna-
with this
my bluff.
sizing, and I kind of agree with what you guys are saying now. That jamming is better, but part of the reason I think I went with this sizing is that like he still has to call a lot here, and I feel like it's way easier for him to overfold to this sizing than it is to the jam.
So what hand types can he overfold here, though?
Like
Like, I'm trying to think about his turn bluff.
he needs to
Like,
call a lot of ace high here.
I don't think he has that much ace high. I think his, like,
When he doubles. Yeah.
I think his only folds here are, like, 10 queen, 10 jack, and, like, some 7x, like queen 7, jack 7, jack 8.
Yeah,
You don't think ace eight
So
or
you're like,
something like that?
yeah, I mean, you're essentially targeting his auto folds.
yeah, which is okay. No, that's a good point. Which I think is
Which might be best. I'm not sure. He
yeah,
might,
yeah. No. I'm actually leaning that the large bet has quite a bit of merit here because of how he kind of pulled himself a little bit on the turn. Like I don't even know if most people bet 9x here that often for this sizing. Like he should.
Yeah.
Like queen 9 should just bet here
Mhm.
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, I mean, if you're calling turn, I think jamming river makes a lot of sense, but
I guess one thing too that I don't know if I was thinking in game that, and I kind of do this with how I decipher which bluffs for my large size or my small size if I'm gonna have one is like, I don't think our blockers are too good here in terms of like we block Jack 10, Queen 10, like Queen 8, like we block a lot of the auto folds.
yeah.
So that makes big bet less appealing, I feel.
I think it makes big bet more appealing. Because when you small bet, you're targeting those
Yeah, I
auto.
guess so. Like, I guess 3-4. Like, yeah, you're right. I got it backward. Like 3-4 would be better to bet like 2,500
Yeah, exactly.
because I don't have any. I don't want to have like a 10 jack or a queen in my range, basically.
Agreed.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, I had it backwards. Yeah, I think jam's probably better here. He folded, so. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that's probably better. Pure fold. This
Check.
probably gets 3-bet
I was
sometimes.
gonna say I'd probably 3-bet this sometimes. I'm not sure what's the.
I tend to use my queen 10, king 10, and jack 10 offsuit. Sometimes 3-bets there. Is that fine at this
Yeah,
point
you're
now?
supposed button versus cutoff. You're supposed to use those hands a ton.
Okay.
Button versus
I
hijack.
said this was the last time when we look at a spot similar to this in this hand history. Like all my offsuit paint. Offsuit ace X that I'm playing.
Jack
Button
10,
versus-
king 10, queen 10,
Under the
ace
gun
10,
3.
offsuit. I like to 3-bet that spot all the time.
So this is at 40. At 40, like we use a lot of the like queen jack king 10.
Okay, yeah, that's...
But then at 30, he has like
Does it have
35.
jack 10 in there off as well?
Jack 10 was folding a lot.
I'm
Oh, shit.
3-betting more than
Whoops. Yeah.
that. 7.7. I think we can probably just take king 6 suited pure, king 5 suited pure.
Button versus under the gun 3. Yes, this hand's out at 30.
What do you mean? It's out 2.2%. If you see that, you know I'm 3-betting.
It's probably not bad. How much does this differ from paired? I want to see here really quick. This all has to do with what sizings they have set up. Paired uses smaller 3-bet sizing. Their system's better too. This is 7%. This is like 7%, yeah. They don't use many jams here, so they don't do any jamming in position. Doesn't mean it isn't. So yeah, Queen 10, Jack 10 are off, and then at 40, it's pretty similar. But 9-10 off. Ooh, on the button. Folding. Ace queen. What do you do here?
I'm gonna pure call.
Yeah. Do we ever jam here?
That was my first
jamming.
instinct.
I think versus like
It's
one
really
or
weird
two
if you
positions.
just 3-bet, right? And stacked pockets really awkward by turn.
Hijack, I think we shove this position, low jack, it's getting closer. I think I mostly call here, I think, but this is cutoff versus low jack. No. Facing reach for soon from like under the gun 1. 30. Yeah, it's mostly calling. It's crazy how little 3-betting we do actually, or how polarized our 3-betting range is. What do you guys do here?
I tend to check with the big blind in there, right? Kind of smacks his range. We don't have to worry about that as much.
I like
What are you doing here, Justin?
Same.
So I think this hits our flatting. Like, I think we connect really well with this board.
We do. But think about, even though when we connect with this board, like, we don't have that many bets. All we have is 10-9 suited and then sets. Like, I don't want to bet Queen 10 here.
A lot of our 10x can stack off here.
I don't think Queen 10-0 wants to stack off here. Not versus initial razor at least.
No, yeah. Fair enough on that point. I might not like this. I went for a stab here, thinking that they don't protect their ranges enough and they just get...
Good enough.
Like, I went for, like, protection / I could sit some value from, like, Queen Jack and stuff. I have a decent amount of equity when I get called. I can turn it into a bluff later on. Like, I thought it was better to bet fold a hand like this than, like, King Queen or, like, Queen Jack or something.
Yeah.
Like, I check back those hands, like Queen Jack. Like, I'm always checking Queen Jack here.
Yeah. For sure.
And, like,
Except,
King
I mean,
Jack, King Queen.
Queen Jack of diamonds can probably just stack off.
Yeah. But, like, if I'm checking those hands and I want to check, like, obviously, like, 9x and stuff, like, hands like this probably, like, Ace Jack, Ace Queen probably become pretty good bets, I think.
I don't hate it. My only, like...
That was my thinking, at least.
My only, like pushback is that I don't want to be value betting this board that much. And when we're not value betting that much, like, already we're not bluffing very much in multi-way pots. And so our range is like, we're going to be pretty linear here.
Yeah, it seemed like that was pretty loose when I did it.
But it's
I
always
agree
nice
with
when you fourth pot and they fucking give it to you, so.
Yeah. Fuck, gags. Runs too good. What do you guys do here?
Probably jam.
Yeah, like this is really close.
I tend to flat, but I think the jam I like better.
What the hell?
That's too tight.
Yeah, I think I must have been sitting out.
You're like, I really don't want to play against these guys.
What the fuck is that?
Gags runs way too good on this site. I don't
That's,
want to play.
that's embarrassing. really skillful one here.
Perfect.
What do you guys do here?
I fold on this stuff.
Me too.
Yeah.
Open 9-10 suited men,
Yeah.
bottom of our opening range.
For me, it is,
Yeah.
yeah.
I missed this one too. I remember I was multi-tabling and I saw he got the leave 189 behind me. You got me on that one.
I did that yesterday. I had 3 blinds, and I just min-raised EP like king 8 suited or something like that, and it got folded through because the big
Yeah.
blind
Nice.
That shit really works.
left too. No, it does. It does for sure. I really think that we should take the bottom of our shoving range and like make a non-all-in size. Like if we have like 8 bigs or something like that, make it just like 5 bigs. Like we know we're shoving, but it just like makes it look so much stronger.
Another skill one here.
Oh yeah. I like it.
This is pretty standard flat for me.
Pure. Perfect flop.
What do you guys do?
Just call it.
Oh,
What the hell is this? This sizing seems weird.
it does seem weird, but yeah. Nice turn.
Balance your folding range.
Check, check.
Yeah. What do you do here?
Jam.
Yeah. That sucks.
You could also fourth pot the turn, but I don't think we want to do fourth pot.
Yeah. Got him. Finally. Fuck you, Gags.
Flop the
Damn,
world,
get
too.
sweat of the finish.
So far I played like shit and built a stack.
No,
You
you have
guys
not
do?
played like shit. You just missed one defend, dude.
I
Like,
timed
you
out
timed
like
out
5
twice,
different
and that was
times.
it.
Did I tell you
I
the
find
free-
that more. I find that more embarrassing than fucking.
Did I tell you the free roll that Aram gave me?
No.
I get $100 every time he times out.
Wow.
He's like, I've been fucking off WSOP so hard. Like, I need to hold myself accountable. He's
Well,
like,
their
"Yeah,
fucking website, if it had auto-engaged time banks, would fucking help.
yeah, it
You guys folding here? Free.
Yeah.
sucks. He owed me $1,100 last week.
He done it 11 times?
Yeah, he timed out 11 times.
Nice. That's a huge free roll.
You guys folding here?
Yeah, I'm gonna call like 7-9 suited. Probably.
Yeah, I'm folding there as well.
What are we doing here? Through what? 15 effective to start the hand? No, 17.
I would make a half pot bet.
Yeah, I think we're range betting here, right?
Yeah, my concern against good players here is that when we check, we're never winning spot.
Yeah, I don't like checking, and I think we get enough value from like Jack X and stuff.
Agreed.
You'd be checking if any other
Agree.
position defended, though, right? Just because it's big blind defend, it's going.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if button defended here,
Yeah, much different.
I'm checking. Yeah.
What I think half pot I like as well, but I think normally I would go half. I think I might have sized down here, just to with like almost an exploit with like this specific combo. Obviously, wants to go smaller.
Default would be 40%.
Yeah,
A little bit.
I think I sized down to like 30 here, but I think my standard here is like half. That's like what we had in a lot of our sims too, Justin.
One of my concerns about sizing down there is like he might just turn 10 queen into a bluff when you size down. Because
Yeah.
like when you size down, you almost never have a good ace.
Right.
What do you guys do here with Queen 10 if Melonhead didn't be a dick?
It's close.
Yeah, I think it's really close.
I would always
I
call.
was behind.
Is it a mistake to always call this?
I think
probably.
like Queen 9 I think is very
Oh, Queen
clearly a
9.
fold. No,
Yeah.
I'm like I think it's
I mean, the ranges in play are just so tight.
a fold when it's like under the gun 1 calls. I think if it was like under the gun like cut off and button, calling has a little more merit, but I feel like this
Right.
range is just like smashing us.
Yeah.
Twos is a punt there.
What?
Is twos a punt there?
I actually think it's fine. I was just gonna ask that. There's so much money in the pot. He just gets it in with 6K in dead money.
But the issue is like Precision has so many better pairs that never fold when it goes forward. Corgasm has way better pairs that when it
Yeah,
buttons
but you're also like getting just called a lot of the time by like.
I mean, if we ran the ranges here for the 3 calls, how often do you think somebody has a better pair?
Like a decent amount, but it's more the first like couple callers that you're just gonna get it in against like ace jack and ace queen and king queen suited and stuff a lot. I don't think it's like terrible just because there's so much money in the pot. If Precision hadn't called, I would probably fold, but I don't know.
I mean, definitely the extra dead money gives you more benefit. Certainly worked out.
What do you do here?
This is just gonna be a pure bet.
I tend to just almost 100%.
Are you range
see
betting?
that, yeah.
I'm not range betting.
I'm not range betting either. You're probably supposed to bet ace 8 because I get enough value. Like 10 8
Yeah,
9 8
instead of
check.
getting like,
I check back. I remember this when I was close on the flop whether I was supposed to bet or check.
So I mean, in theory, it's a definite bet. We're always betting when we split our range. Our ace middle pair always bets.
Yeah. Okay.
But in tournaments, I mean, there's a lot of merit to.
No, I think I was supposed to bet here too. I'm pretty sure I normally mostly always bet here as well.
It's a pretty good turn.
Yeah.
We want a small bet here for sure.
Yeah, because we've kind of capped our range. Like, obviously we have an ace, but like.
And we want him
Why
to.
do we want a small bet? Because I would tend to go
60% for
like
default.
3,500, 4K personally, especially when 2 flush draws as well now. And
So the thing
I don't
is,
know.
I think
Yeah.
on ace up and check, we have such a massive equity advantage now because our range has so many aces in it that we want a small bet because we have like a big range advantage, but we don't have the nut advantage. He has the nut advantage.
Yeah, we don't have. That's the one thing I was thinking is that we don't have the nut advantage now. We don't have ace jack ever.
Yeah, so he should.
We
be
probably don't have ace 8 ever. We
Yeah,
shouldn't.
Yeah. So
We have
he
ace
should,
6. You check ace 6 on the flop, right?
Yeah, for sure. But he should be developing like a pretty big check raising strategy with like
Yeah.
his sats.
What do you do in his spot? Like, what do you do in his spot with ace 8?
I'm stacking off ace 8, and then my bluffs are going to come from the 6.
No, but like, what hands do you lead on the turn here? As
None.
pure reason.
None.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed
I
to.
don't
have
think
a-
I have a lead on the turn personally.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you are. So
So we're only check raising from pure reasons.
I bet half here.
It's fine. But like hit from pure reasons, yeah, he should be check raising. a
Yeah,
lot.
I agree. I agree that he should be check
Jesus.
raising a lot.
And so I think his range does not want to contain good draws because he has to forward if you jam. And so I think he wants to block the 6, to block ace 6. And then he just wants to run like,
Yeah, like queen 10 and stuff. Like queen 10 with a heart and stuff like that wants to like.
king 6 and queen 6 are so good because of blocking ace king.
Yeah, I agree with that. Stuff with like draws that are too weak to like check call and stuff, but still wanna
5
agree
7 spades or something.
like 6x is 6. A 6 is the best pair blocker for sure. And then
We definitely don't want like 9 10 of
like stuff like 5 7 of spades, like you said, that like just check raise and then they rip every non club and heart on the river. Like are good, I think.
Okay.
I think you like draws like
non-heart club. I actually think we want to rip heart into them.
If you have pure
yeah, we
recency-
probably don't have it. Sorry, clubs is the worst river to rip. Obviously. We're much more weighted towards backdoor clubs here probably. But. What do you do here in my spot now?
Just pure call. His range is folded.
So I remember this hand and I was thinking he has a lot of like, he still has a ton of 2 pair that's check raising now that we can get the money in now versus there's a lot of cards we might not be able to get the money in on the river. And I
yeah.
felt like the population is just going to perceive my range to be very, very heavy ace king, ace queen when I rip here.
I totally agree with that portion, but he's at this SPR. You're never not getting in a worse two pair on the river. Like you call here, the pot's going to be 28K, and you're going to have like 24 back or something like that. Like you're
Yeah,
never
so I
not.
think Jack 8 still stacks off.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's a fair point then. If that's the truth, then yeah, because I shoved here.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to stack his like 6-8, Jack 8, whatever. But if you call here, you let him just go crazy, and he bluffs.
Yeah, I ended up shoving,
Ace
and
king or ace queen or something. Oh,
No.
even better.
That's a so if he's doing this, then shoving becomes so much better.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like population, like they don't realize how much they're supposed to like fold draws on the turn.
I don't.
Well, I just think he should be check calling.
I think his hand's strong enough to check call.
Yeah.
I don't think check raising is. I probably check raise a lot against population here, but
The issue with population, dude, is population's not folding ace queen.
no, I agree. Well, I mean, they shouldn't fold ace queen.
I mean, so
Yeah.
like, so what I'm saying is that
Yeah, I guess I get what you're saying. Yeah. No, I
if they're
kind of.
not folding, we probably shouldn't be check raising more.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because they're like population is way more polarized there. Really.
Yeah. I if he's betting or check raising with really strong draws, though, it makes your jam so much better.
What are you guys doing here?
Small squeeze. The issue is he's.
Yeah, I'm
I still think small squeeze is nice.
over flat in this spots.
Well, what do you mean small squeeze? Look at their stack sizes. Can't small squeeze.
You only jam or call? I tend to just call here.
I would rip.
I think I would rip king, queen, king, jack. And I know king 10 is in the same value range. I should be jamming this as well, but I don't know.
think overcall is that great.
I don't think it.
I like
Thinking about it, I think I like it
I'm
better.
gonna squeeze these spots more.
I mean, like
The
that's
thing,
jam
the nice
better
thing
than
about this
there,
is
but-
like versus like we actually get king jack off to fold and like king queen
Yes.
off
Yeah.
to fold.
Is ace 9 open or something like that? Ace 9 off. You might just raise fold as well.
nice.
Yeah, I thought this was like. I thought this
Pretty
was a pretty
standard.
good rip.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I
do you-
don't
what do
take
you do
this
with
rip
Jack
enough,
10 suited?
honestly.
What do you do with Jack 10 suited?
same thing. I really don't think we get to overcall that much of the stock depth, guys.
Yeah, I'm
I think I
definitely
might.
not
I think I
squeezing
might
that.
fold. I think I might fold Jack 10 suited.
That's because you're net, but that's okay.
I've been called
Well,
in it in a while. It feels good. I feel like one after this. Now the
Yeah, so
antes
would
are
you
in play.
flat
There's not a
fives?
lot of nittiness that goes on. What?
I was asking what Justin, what are you? I mean, I know we don't get to call much here, but are there any of our suited type broadways that we want to, like Jack 9 suited? I know Matt just said he might.
I
pull
think we're
Jack
just
10 or something like
destroyed. I think we're like destroyed by this range that we don't want to call.
For sure. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
finding the small blind a lot versus the kid. But when Melon had calls, like, we're getting fucked with those hands.
Yeah.
Because he has the exact same suited Broadway hand, and then he has some traps with aces and kings he might flat with as well.
I mean, I might literally only flat pocket aces. Because, like, my pocket fives and stuff just want to rip too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Oh
we
yeah.
don't-
this
Oh,
thing.
you're talking about you in the small blind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, aces I just rip because we get called so much. I don't think I ever flat aces. I don't think I have a flatting range.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
if I have one, it's pocket aces.
All right.
Yeah, I was,
I was
would've
curious.
flatted
It's
it.
like this one, I felt like king jack. I thought for sure I would rip. This one felt a
Yeah.
little bit, but I think it's just strong enough.
Yeah, I miss that all the time.
This is the sunrun portion.
Oh, yeah.
What are you guys doing here? Anything?
No, just rip.
Do you rip or small 3-bet?
I think rip's better.
I think
Yeah, this
rip
table
is.
configuration is bad.
If I was in position, I don't know. I think rip is definitely fine. I think, okay, I went with a rip. I think it's close between.
Are you gonna small 3-bet fold before guys?
I probably do have some small 3-bet folds with like some ace jack off maybes and stuff to him. Aces that win a small pot. What are we doing here with 9? Oh yeah, I remember this one. What are you guys doing here? What's the bottom for you guys?
Damn.
Maybe 8's at the bottom, maybe 7.
I mean, yeah, this is it. I mean,
I'm probably not
8 and
getting
9.
sevens, but
What?
Yeah, 8 and 9 for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think it's 8s.
Yeah.
I think it's like ace jack suited 8s plus.
Yeah, ace queen off.
Yep.
Ace queen, ace jack suited might be a little thin.
Yeah.
I think it's fine versus these positions.
We
Like
saw
my
Marin hit,
standard,
re-jammed.
my standard is like 9s plus ace queen is normally always pretty solid, and then adjusting for positions.
That seems reasonable and good. The dream. Fade all 4.
Oh, we didn't fade him, but we got there. Just gotta outflop him.
I mean, yeah, I think that if we ran the numbers on it, you probably, like, winning when you make a set is probably more common than winning when you fade.
Right?
Yeah.
Too many odds to fade.
Yeah. Who is Jay Tenu?
It's one of Mike Norrie's friends who's one of my friends. I don't know. It's like Jeff Tenoy or something.
But he's pretty good.
I mean, he seems to be all right.
Yeah, he put me in a really bad spot in the 500 yesterday. It was like a tough one because I didn't know who he was, and I was like, if this was like a really strong player, I'm definitely calling. But
What do you guys do here? BVB.
I,
Oh, it just
I'm
gonna
ready.
be a race for me.
I think I pure raise this. What do you guys do for sizing? No.
3.5 rounds.
3.5.
I think 3.5 to 4. What? 4. Might be a little big. I think 3.5 is better because they overfold. Yeah.
Moby is so fucking bad.
Yeah.
He sits in like the 2K and L too.
Yeah.
Any table, if I have enough money in the account, I will play in a cash game. If there's an open seat, there's table.
Getting near the bubble now. Oh.
You have to open.
Yeah, I agree. What's your plan versus these shoves?
Fold. I'm gonna over-open, over-fold.
Yeah, I'm just folding ace-6. Probably calling ace-8 off, ace-9
Plan was to
off
call
plus.
Mobies.
Yeah, I think this one's...
Call Mobies for 12 and then fold these two.
I think that's probably fine. Moby's just crazy.
I thought this one for like 12 and a half, I kind of had to call it off. So there's going to be like Queen Jack suited, Jack 10 suited, King Queen
King,
suited,
queen, yeah.
I
some
think
like
in
deuces through 5, like deuces through 5s, like all pairs and stuff.
I think in general, opening wider and then calling a little bit tighter is probably good.
I agree. I felt here we're starting to get like, you know, we need 40% versus this range. Like it's getting close. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll do.
Either way is fine.
I think I just folded this with all the rejam stacks.
Yeah, I'd open that. Be punished.
With 9 big blind stack, 25, 30, 25, 25. It's probably fine to open. It's probably a little tight.
If Swan Song is deeper, you can for sure.
Yeah, I think he was the main one. Like, if he was deeper, I think I would open it. This is not normally an open, especially with 2 open seats. This should be an open.
I don't think so. With no small blind, you can muck.
Oh,
Oh, shit, it
that
is
might
a
be
big
why I
blind.
folded. It's because of the small blind. I've actually been trying to pay attention to that. But yeah, I agree with you with no small blind. It's
Do you have Sasana? Who that is?
no, I don't know who it is, but they have pretty good sharks.
Yeah, they're good. I don't know who it is. What do you have on PBK? Or just purple?
Purple means unknown. I mean, like, purple means we don't know much about them. This is notes taken from later on the final 2 tables. It seemed like he was probably fishy.
Run deep in a few big ones, but seems to play a little off.
This is getting like 15 from the money, I think.
Ooh.
Pure call. I don't think there's
Yep.
much on. What do you guys do here?
Back check.
Check.
I don't
You-
even want to read this hand type.
I think we end
I
up
have no
leading. I
lead.
think like a lot of our leading right here ends up being like 3x hands and king x hands.
I would agree, but I think
You
we'll-
don't have any hands that floated that you would then turn into a bluff on the turn when the board pairs. So, for instance, if you didn't check
Jack or
raise.
something.
Like stuff like Jack 9 and Queen 9 and stuff like that would be my bluffs. Yeah.
Yeah, I would, yeah. I think I would just call personally the king and then turn some of that stuff into a lead bluff with, some of those draws. But
I agree.
I definitely think we're supposed to lead here, like something like probably
even
like
with the king.
30%.
Okay.
I mean, I think
We get a lot of value from like queens, ace,
Right.
queen, ace, jack.
A 10.
What do you think, Justin?
10x.
I don't,
Justin's giving the cringy face.
Cams are on, Justin.
I don't like it. I think if we start leading this hand, we're like too depolarized, and I think we want to be really polar here on the turn. Like, there's no way.
I think I like check best.
Like-
What would you do with king jack?
I'm still checking because both those
Checking all
hands
my
aren't
cameras.
stacking off. Like, this Osana guy might just develop like a pretty reasonable. Like, if you're depolarizing your range, he gets to raise, and you don't have that many 3x to call this bet. I mean, call a flop. Like, you have a lot of 3x, but not like.
Yeah,
not-
it's just the suited ones. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it's king 10-6 or king 10-7.
Yeah, I agree with you. I led here and I didn't like it. I think I agree with Justin.
Ooh, and big.
I think when I lead, I do want to lead big.
Yeah, we're only leading big here.
Okay.
It's probably like, this is probably too small.
Or so we would just sometimes want to pot it or.
Like, I think king queen is fine to lead here. Like, I think I should have
Okay.
like maybe king queen in here. That I didn't check raise.
I don't think we're like, I'm all for like stacking off king queen on king 10-3, but I think we want to be versus a later position. I think versus you,
Yeah.
we need to be a little bit tight.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I don't think I like the lead there. I think that was kind of pretty messy.
Just call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You actually might jam in theory. No, maybe like if it's low jack.
You folding?
Yeah,
What do you
Yeah,
do?
no
What
heart.
do you do with the heart?
I'm still gonna mock probably. Just such
I
poor
think-
flexibility on GP3.
I think
I check raise fours with a heart. I don't know if that's.
Actually, probably really good.
I feel like sometimes I'll check raise maybe here like fours with the heart. It's like we have a hand that can improve to a stack off on a 4, and we can get folds from like 7s through kings on a lot of turn cards.
I agree.
And like it gives us a really good bluff hand on like a 7 or an 8. Like,
I would say I like it way more if the ace of hearts is on the board. Like ace of hearts 6.
yes, that's ace. I agree. That's a very good point. I just folded there. But
I'm so stoked.
just queen 9 here. I think I just open. Thing there. 8s. I think we just raise and take it.
We just got a bunch of packages
I didn't get
delivered to
it
my house, and someone got a MAGA hat, and I don't know whose name it is, but it got delivered to my house. My NBA Jams arcade machine came too, 6s.
Oh shit,
This
nice.
guy did in the house.
What are you guys doing here?
So this is where I flat a lot, but I think I know that on certain sections we're not supposed to be doing it as much.
Oh
right?
shit, look at the guys behind as well. Three.
This
step,
is like-
step squeeze.
I don't know,
He's opening into
within
that
like 10 to
configuration.
15, like 10 to 15 from the money. Could be a little less, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah,
Maybe probably just fold,
Yeah.
right? Damn.
I'm not gonna lie. I flat
I was
here
temp-
like most of the time, but
I was tempted to jam. I thought it was jam or fold.
Yeah.
I can get behind that too.
too weak to jam, I think.
Yeah. Do you ever flat here, Dustin? Yeah,
If you're 40 bigs deep, you start flatting, 40 effective.
Yeah, for sure. Even more, like 30. We just raise and take it there. We do.
GG crash yesterday during the bracelets?
Yep. DDS attack, I think.
They get shredded like ACR does?
Yeah, they got shredded up pretty well. It makes Negrounder's rant pretty funny.
Yeah, I just saw there's a post on Twitter that it crashed. I didn't read it. Shoot it small.
Oh, this is an interesting spot here, I thought, on the flop.
I'm betting like 12-8, 12-5.
I was trying to decide how often we're supposed to bet here.
It's so dry, we don't need that much protection. With the back doors, it seems kind of tempting to check.
I think the deeper we are, the more we check, but like this shallow, I think we just bet.
Just half potted.
Yeah, I'd probably go 12 like toe and.
Do you think you're supposed to go
12-5,
that big?
12-6.
You go even smaller. 12-8 is 40%.
Like, those seem...
Oh, no, we can go small. I'd probably go 30%, 25, 30.
I feel like my standard here would be
shallow.
like 9 or 10.
30% is
Yeah.
9,600.
Like, I think I would
Yeah, I
go
like that
like,
better.
I think this is too small, but I normally go
I'd get
like
that. You can get behind that.
something like 30% or like somewhere between like 25 and 30, I feel like.
That's funny. You have
The issue
Gunner
is the
King
button.
10. This guy is a micro stakes player that's sattied into every bracelet event so far and had an amazing summer.
So the issue is we're out of position. So like queen 8-2 out of position, if it's heads up, we're always 2/3. But I think like we want to use a big bet size, make the SPR less versus when we could be out of position. If it's just small blind, big blind, I'm definitely with you on the small bet.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you're saying we want to go 2/3 here because we're out of
No, no, no.
position and we just. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, we would want to go 2/3 if it's heads up versus
Up
play
it's heads up.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
But because like yeah, so anything that's 2/3 heads up is going to become like half pot.
Okay. Heads up 2/3. Okay.
I gotta take care of some stuff here soon to see if there's any good, interesting ones.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to run in.
Yeah. What are you doing here?
Just jamming.
Yeah, it's the squeeze spot I've been missing. Not anymore. I took the note.
I was going to be over here just.
I need more 3-bets from the blinds there, Justin.
Yeah. More big 3-bets. You're
I'm
good
good
at
at the
small
small
3
ones.
bet.
Yeah.
This is range bet.
Yeah.
This is big. Yep.
2 SPR, what do you... Range bet, what size?
Small. I like it a lot.
I think I folded this. Yeah, I didn't time out here. I consciously folded this one.
I think it's good.
12, 12, 12, 7, 12, like...
Damn, this table sucks. Yeah. That's a good astute fold. Hey,
Oh,
how
this
you
is
doing?
a good hand to end up on.
Oh, nice.
So, this is Romero. You guys know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Trash.
Do you ever 3-bet this?
I 3-bet this a lot. This is one of my like primary 3-bet spots.
Do you ever 3-bet this, Justin?
No, I'm pure flatting.
Yeah, I think it's close. But yeah, I think like King 10 off, maybe we 3-bet a lot. What are you guys doing?
Raise.
You're raising?
Probably.
I think our hand's just good enough to call.
Definitely calling again.
Yeah. And I remember Ryan saying with like king, queen, and king, jack off in this spot versus button, like we just want to be flatting a lot because it just plays so well post flop, and we keeping in worse king x, jack x, queen x. You know, when we have those hands. But I still flirt at it sometimes.
Yikes.
This spot got interesting now. What do you do here?
Easy call.
I'm calling, but it's not as easy as Justin's call.
So, I actually rolled here versus James, and I thought I would like pure call like king six. I
Wait,
felt like the jack of hearts was a really bad card.
Blocks queen jack. Arms on queen jack.
Yeah, I can.
Jack ten.
I think I was supposed to call here. I think it, like,
It's way too many. I mean, the Jack of Hearts like isn't a great card to have, but King Jack's just so good.
I feel like, does he ever value bet a non? Like, does he value bet any hands that beat us and that we beat?
No.
Not for that size.
I think we get to start overfolding here in this spot just because of how fucked we are in this position against button. And I think we can start overfolding on the turn.
Definitely overfolding MDF.
You can't pull King Jack here. Because he has so many air balls.
I agree, like, I would be calling almost all my kings. I thought specifically this combo with the jack of hearts was a bad one. I think I'm supposed to call. I think I made a mistake calling here. Or folding here. But I was like, in game, I was thinking like king five, I would pure call here.
Because you're just going to barrel that card every time to try to make you fold a 9 or 4.
Yeah.
Maybe some kind of
But like,
strategy
I thought
to get
maybe
you
even like
checkers.
some hands like 9-8 might be potentially. Actually, probably not 9-8. Like jack. I guess jack 9 would be the same problem. I think I made a mistake here overfolding. Like,
Yeah.
That's okay. I think it's pure call.
because I think we start folding. Do we fold no king X on the turn there?
He's got such a...
I think we're supposed to call down like some king X and then call down some king X on the river too versus shove. Because I don't think we have enough ace X.
Probably true.
Yeah.
Like, I thought this was a pretty interesting hand that I might
fold
actually
any
run.
kings, right? He's just going to be so wide on the button.
We should also
actually-
understand.
I'm gonna run this hand. I'm curious if king eight's a better call here. I mean, I'm assuming it is.
They're both gonna call. I'm pretty sure. He just has so much like queen, like any queen suit, all of his suited queens. You know, all of his suited jacks.
No, I know. Yeah.
6, 7, 7, 8.
And then like,
He might bluff 5-4 too. Like
yeah, 4x is a pretty
Yeah.
good call. 4-3 and like. I agree with you. I was pretty like, I remember tanking for a while here, and I thought I was overfolding here with this spot. I was pretty confident. I kind of was trying to read into the jack of hearts being too much of a negative blocker, but I did not like that spot.
I'm gonna miss the end of this. Sorry.
Yeah, we can probably wrap it up now. I got some stuff to do now, but
Cool.
that seemed like it was pretty good.
That was a good
Yeah, that was
session,
good.
guys.
Yeah,
Thank
that was
you.
good. Good session.
Appreciate you.
I'm
guys.
gonna run
Oh,
this
good.
now.
Webinar
We're
today?
putting next Monday on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
books
I'm
now
good.
while we have everybody.
What time is it? What day is that?
I'm down.
I'm good for next Monday morning.
At the same, yeah, I'm
Yep.
good for the same
Yep.
time.
Cool. Peace out,
Yeah,
guys.
this works.
All right,
Take it
sounds
easy,
good.
guys.
I'm gonna run this hand right now. I'll post in the chat or something.
Sounds good.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
All right,
All right, thanks, buddy.